Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Politically Correct Ghana lesson 342, and today being the 10th of December 2025, we want to discuss the Sunday, that's the past Sunday's event in Benin, involving the Republic of Nigeria, and the Republic of Benin. There was a coup d'etat that was aborted, but in the process, we're told that the Republic of Nigeria, the President of Nigeria, did send the military from Nigeria to intervene in Benin, which is this is another country, though they are neighbors. There's another country, and so it calls for a rethinking. Is Nigeria got the right to do that? Is it time bound? Those are issues, the legal ramifications, and then what are the consequences for other neighboring countries? Those are issues that we have to look at. So let's look at from the bottom. That's the consequences for other neighboring countries. Nigeria is a superpower in West Africa, and so if they can marshal up or they can mass up their military and quickly intervene within few hours in a coup d'etat in a neighboring country, that's a border town, that's the Republic of Benin, then it so means that at any time Nigeria can invade another country upon their caprice. Why I'm using caprice or whims, you would understand shortly. Let's go to the other bit. That's what are the legal ramifications of some of these things. But before we get there, is it proper? Is it proper for Nigeria to step into another country to interfere in the affairs of another country military-wise? And I'm thinking it's no. No. Shouldn't have happened. Why am I saying that? You know, the moment one country interferes militarily without the approval of the United Nations, into another country, then it flouts the United Nations regulations. And over there, according to UN Charter 2, subsection 7, it says that, look, no country should interfere, non-interference, or let me put it this way, there should be non-interference in the internal affairs of another country. So then, before there could be interference, there must be a United Nations Security Council approval. If you want to interfere in the non-peace state of another country or wartime events of another country, United Nations Security Council must define what is non-peace and what is war before they give the approval. There are 5 permanent members, they have to give the approval. Nigeria is not one of the permanent members. So then it means that Nigeria flouted the UN Security Council's laws. That aside, you remember sometime in the late 1990s, there was an upheaval in Liberia, and ECOWAS sent its military team, that's ECOWAS there. It was later that the United Nations Security Council approved that entry, but they had gone and then sorted out Liberia. So then probably Nigeria is taking this step because they think that they want to save President Talon, who is the democratically elected president of Republic of Benin, before they seek UN Security Council approval. Maybe, I don't know. But then let's look at how it evolves, because with United Nations, the legal consequences or the legal interpretations helps us shape global phenomenon as it is. And so then if it happens at one place, you go look at the law, and then what the law says is what we use subsequently. And if Nigeria has been found wanting in this particular case, which I think they have been found wanting, then it means the United Nations Security Council will have to punish Nigeria. They would have to punish Nigeria big time. Why am I saying big time punishment? Because if they let them off, we in Ghana, I'm doing this video from Ghana, they can pounce on us at any time. That Nigeria can pounce on us at any time they want. The president's whims can do that. His caprice, just what he wants, can do that, because there's an interesting phenomenon between Ghana and Nigeria, in that Ghana government sent Nigerian citizens out of Ghana in the early 70s. Then early 1980s too, Nigeria also sent Ghanaians out of the place. So then this history is always there, and there's always this upheavals, though they are friendly countries. But trust yourself, friendly countries is dependent on only interest. So what is Nigeria's interest in Benin? That the President Bola Tinubu should just interfere in the coup d'etat, to abort the coup d'etat in the Republic of Benin, is a question that is still unanswered, because There's no threat. So we have looked at the UN Security Council law. So I'm saying that the UN Security Council must put a sanction on Nigeria, must put a sanction on Nigeria. Why? Because they have flouted the law. The UN Charter has been flouted by Nigeria, so they must put sanction on them. And it could be economic sanction for 6 months or a year. That will send the message to Nigeria, and any Nigeria president will take it serious. But even that, for them to avert that situation, they could quickly, they could quickly look at their constitution, the Nigerian constitution, the Republic of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria Constitution, where if you look at chapter 1, part 2, section 5, it states, let me just read, please, and I quote, notwithstanding the provision of subsection 4 of this section, the President, in consultation with the National Defense Council, may deploy members of the armed forces of the Federation on limited combat duty outside Nigeria if he is satisfied that the national security is under imminent threat or danger. Nigeria's security was not under any imminent threat from the coup d'etat in Benin because they have only arrested 13 men, 1 ex-soldier and 12 active soldiers. I mean, how can 12 soldiers destabilize Nigeria when Boko Haram has several of these asymmetric soldiers, and Nigeria, they've not been able to overthrow the Nigerian president or the government or administration up until now. For years now, they have not been able to. So how come 12 men from Benin can do that? They can't just do it. Nigeria was not under any threat, so Bola Tinubu did the wrong thing. It goes on the same, you see, if you look at the same law of the Constitution, it says, provided, there's another proviso here, let me quote, provided that the president shall, within 7 days of actual combat engage, seek the consent of the Senate, and the Senate shall thereafter give or refuse the said consent within 14 days, unquote. So then, President Bola Tinubu didn't seek the consent of the Senate. That's the National Assembly. They did of Nigeria. He didn't seek the consent. If he did, he couldn't have gone because it would take 7 days before an attempt can be done, and it will take about 14 days within which he should have been given the approval. He couldn't have gotten the approval within that same few minutes or an hour or two to send the military flight with soldiers into Benin to go and then bomb the place up and then get out of the place. It's not possible. Okay, now another group is saying that President Tinubu did the right thing because it was an ECOWAS call. It's not an ECOWAS call. It's not an ECOWAS call because ECOWAS would have to do that in consultation with United Nations Security Council, based on the approval of United Nations Security Council. Other bit of it is that someone will say, hey, Kwame Faglo, are you thinking of the fact that just you want to use the law, or are you thinking of the fact that internally the Benin president, that's Talon, did the right thing by calling external assistance, which came handy and the coup was stopped? Yes, it's a success to him. However, it becomes unlawful and it sets the precedence for all other countries around Nigeria. Then Nigeria can get up and enter any other country as of when they want. That's their caprice, and do whatever they want, and that is the danger. If they have taken their time to seek approval from UN Security Council, UN Security Council can pull the junta out and then put Talon back as president. Those are all possibilities. So that's even if the junta succeed. They may not even succeed because the Benin military would have mass up enough to fight the junta of 13 men. Look, let's think of it. If we allow Nigeria in Africa to just get up, take their military plane, go to other countries and go bombing, we are in danger. The rest of us in Africa are in danger. So let us all arm our respective countries, buy arms and ammunition to prevent one superpower, that's Nigeria, from invading or being invited by another person, being invited by a group that they thinks or aligns with them or in their interest has called them to intervene. It may not be the president. It may even be the opposition leader who thinks and has a certain interest with Nigeria, can call Nigeria president, and then they will come invade that African country in the interest of the opposition party. That is one thing that you haven't thought of, or some others haven't thought of, and that's what we bring it up to you. So let us do it and do it right. Let's stop Nigeria from being hawkish in Africa. We don't need that. It should either be, you shouldn't think of any superpower in Africa. It should all be more something like multipolar, a multipolar kind of Africa, multi-powered African countries. All the African countries have that military might. That is even better, so nobody attacks the other. Then we can go for detente, where we can discuss and come to some agreement. That is what I will think. That, however, Bola Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, must be punished. He can be impeached by his National Assembly because he's flouted Section 1. He's flouted he's flouted his own regulation, Chapter 1, Part 2, Section 5 of the Constitution of Nigeria. And so the National Assembly must call him to order and then start the impeachment process. It's true that his party, that's the All People's Congress, have the majority, but they don't have a supermajority. PDP also has some good number in there. And then in the APC, that's the All People's Congress, they'll have Senate members who are working on conscience and not just bearing a card or standing for the party, a party card or standing for the party. They must have a voice of conscience, and that voice of conscience can be relied upon to impeach President Bola Tinubu. The other alternative is that, which is quite easier, is that a judicial inquiry must be opened into it, such that no Nigerian president can get up out of his whims or out of his caprice to militarily attack any other country, for that matter. The name is Kwame Afaglo. Let us militarize our respective African countries to protect ourselves in future from the hawkish Nigeria that we're seeing. Thank you. If you have any question to this podcast, don't hesitate to let me know. Ciao, ciao. It's Politically Correct Ghana.